welcome to Fresh Perspectives. My name is Gail, and I'm just getting acquainted today with my guest. It's her first visit to Fresh Perspectives. Her name is Pat Martonis. She's a master gardener, and our topic today is going to be on pollinators. And I'm going to give you a chance to get acquainted, let the viewing audience get acquainted with you by saying some things about yourself.
I started on really getting involved with pollinators during COVID because we could not go anywhere. So I started researching it and observing, and it is a wonderful, wonderful world out there once you start looking at it. It gave me the opportunity to stay home and be occupied and learn. Since then, I've taken it to, just completed a pollinator stewardship program and certification, and I've expanded my knowledge quite well. And I firmly believe in native pollinators.
Oh, yeah, definitely. As I was telling you before we started recording the program, I used to actually raise a small amount of honeybees, a few hives, so that was fun. My husband and I did that for almost 30 years, and we enjoyed it.
We have two farmers by me that do hives.
Oh, do they?
Yes, and I think that's some of my visitors to my garden. I'm not too sure. They haven't told me, but I'm going to guess that I'm helping them out a little bit.
Oh, yeah, yeah. We have, when we had our bees, I remember one year, usually the spring honey flow is a lighter colored. But this one year, we were noticing that when we were doing the honey extracting for the spring honey flow, it was a dark brown color. And my husband and I were discussing it, and I said, if I didn't know better, I'd swear that was buckwheat honey, because the buckwheat honey is that dark brown color. Okay, well, a few weeks later, one of our neighbors, I was talking about our honeybees, and I couldn't understand it because they weren't really all in the locust trees like they normally would be. And we couldn't understand where they'd been foraging. And this one neighbor made some comment to me one day about, not a close neighbor, because you can't see the neighbors' houses. It might have been like at least half a mile from our house. And she said something about, well, we planted buckwheat in our field this year, and she said when it was blossoming, it was totally covered with honeybees, and I said,
"You're welcome."
I said, so that's where they were. I said that's where they were going, and I wound up explaining that our spring honey was not the regular color. So we had a good laugh over that.
Well, you helped her out, or him.
Yeah, okay, well, okay, so you were...
Well, I think we're in agreement that bees are really important.
They are very important.
They are, because that's where I got started in this. That one bite, every one bite that we all take out of 3 has to have a bee pollinated, a native pollinator or a honeybee do it. So either way, we've got to have them.
We have to. Yeah. We have to. Actually, about once a year, Dr. Burke will come on my television program. You know who he is, right? He's a medical doctor. So anyways, the first time I invited him to be on Fresh Perspectives, I said, I want to do an episode with you on beekeeping, because once upon a time, quite a number of years ago, he had mentioned to me that when he was young, he raised honeybees for a while. He said he'd had 6 hives. So, anyways, he and I got together and we did an episode on beekeeping, and that was kind of fun.
New York State is really protecting beekeeping. I mean, they really are. I'll give them that.
Yeah, they really are. And They are a lot of fun. They are a lot of fun if you are actually raising them. So,
I got involved in the native pollinators just because of the fact that I have a limited area to begin with. So that would enable me to be involved in contributing to the environment without being too overwhelmed. And bees are the #1 pollinators to begin with, and the #1 native bee we have around here is the bumblebee.
I love bumblebees. I just love bumblebees. Before we came on the air, I said to Pat, I've never been stung by a bumblebee. I've even played with them. If one of them gets on my hand, it'll just keep walking, and you can go like this. And I mean, one of them got inside a shirt I was wearing one time when I was a young girl in junior high school and going for a walk. And a bumblebee flew up inside the shirt I was wearing and just buzzed around in there a little bit and flew away. And then another time as an adult, I had an orange colored t-shirt, and it wasn't just a print of flowers. The shirt was embroidered with embroidery thread, these brightly colored flowers, and bumblebees would come and land on those fake flowers on my shirt. It was so much fun.
Well, you wouldn't have eggplant, you wouldn't have potatoes, and you wouldn't have tomatoes if you didn't have bumblebees.
All three of those.
They're just part of them. That's just specific plants that have to have buzz pollination. You don't have a bumblebee, you don't have your tomato.
Wow.
So that is where I start getting involved in. When we have a vegetable garden, what do we plant next to there to get the natural pollinator that you need to make it go? So if we get rid of the bumblebees, you're not going to have your tomatoes.
It'd be the end of tomatoes.
Tomatoes. You'd have to hand pollinate them.
If bumblebees became extinct, tomatoes would become extinct.
Well, you'd have to hand pollinate them. Who wants to? And they are losing some bumblebees out west. There are some becoming extinct. So far, we have what's called the eastern one, which is a one. But there's different sizes too. Next time you're out, look.
There are.
There's different kinds of bumblebees.
I've always liked to watch them. They're cute. They're cute to look at, you know.
They're social. That's another thing about native bees. They're either social or solitary. And the bumblebee is one of the few ones that's social because you're used to a colony with your hives. And they do. What was sad about it was the fact I realized that at the end of the winter, they all die.
All of the bumblebees?
All the bumblebees except for a couple queens that go and overwinter somewhere.
Oh.
So you have this hive that goes, and they like rodent holes, chipmunk holes, things like that. And they will go underground, and they will do it, and then come fall, everybody dies except for a few queens.
Oh, wow.
So I'm pretty protective of my little bumblebees.
Oh, I just love them. They are just wonderful. They're fun. You know, I mean, you can hang around with them and you won't get stung.
Well, basically what I've looked at is that most of your pollinators in New York State, I'm going to kind of address just our local. The second one are flower flies, and everybody thinks of the house fly, these horrible, I don't know where the picture is, these horrible looking, they think they're going to be coming and they're going to be dirty and they're garbage. Well, the flower flies are often called hover flies.
Hover flies?
They come down, and a lot of them look like bees. But you can tell the difference between their wings, and you can tell the difference between the eyes. They have the big eyes, but a lot of them have what they call mimicry. They look like a bee.
Oh.
And they're the second ones that are quite prevalent. Your bees come out early, your bumblebees come up early in the spring, because they're one of the few bees that can tolerate cold and wet.
Oh, yeah.
That's why you like your bumblebees. The hoverflies come out and they take over a little bit. They can do more general. They're not as specific. They don't have to have a buzz kind of flower to go in. Most people know your moths and your butterflies, which sort of help because they transfer the pollen on their bodies. They're good for another reason. Beetles will do the same. There's a few beetles. That's your main ones that everybody knows and we have done in New York State. especially our area I've been looking at. Wasps help. Your advantage of your bee, and I think you can correct me, that the honeybee can carry pollen on their legs, can they?
Oh, yes, they do. The honeybees do,
Yes,
yeah.
honeybees, and a lot of bees can carry the pollen, so it helps. They have hairs or whatever. Wasps don't. So they're, again, another one that's got to brush up, so that's why your bees are probably the most efficient ones to begin with.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you that certain plants can only be pollinated by native pollinators. That's it. There's no other one that will ever pollinate them. The magnolia was a weird one. All magnolias are pollinated by beetles.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they have, tough, leathery leaves, and they were developed so that the magnolia beetle can do them. Another one I don't know if you're aware of is yucca.
I've heard of it.
Well, we have that, and they have a yucca moth. So if these coexist, our problem is with the changes in the environment, they're losing that connection. And we can talk about that a little bit later, what's causing it. But
Yeah, I know we have a lot of invasive plants.
yes,
These days.
that's one of the big threats. Thank you.
The threats to the pollinators.
Yeah, it's a huge threat.
Yeah.
It's a sad one. But right now, I'm having a disconnect with the weather myself, and trying to figure out what's disconnected. We've been so hot and dry.
Yeah.
And when I go out and look, I'm trying to find out what's surviving in this whole difference of a whole environment. And then I often wonder if the smoke from Canada is changing anything for the environment.
Yeah, I remember 3 years ago, one week, we had a lot of smoke in the area. And this summer now, we had some days where there was a lot of smoke. I'm sure it's got to affect things.
I would think so, because I don't think anybody's studied it. We've been very lucky because we live in New York State. So in 2022, they completed a 5-year pollinator study in New York State. And they found that 30 to 60% of our pollinators are in trouble. They're either on the verge of extinction or not. It's probably, from what I can read, the most extensive pollinator study ever done by a state, period. And they have then piggybacked on further research with that. So now they're trying to develop strategies to keep the environment, and what they're doing, they're looking to see, are bumblebees going up north because it's too hot in the southern part of the state, and that's the newer one. We also went through several different changes as a state. They got rid of neonicotinoids.
Oh, neonicotinoids.
Treated
that
seeds. That's now not allowed. We're one of the few states that won't allow it. The Attorney General got a lawsuit against Bayer and took all of that money and put it towards pollinator programs and grants.
Oh,
and one was, I don't know if you're involved with the Niagara River Keeper, but they were one of the ones locally in our area, Western New York, that got things. So we've advanced really, really far in our state. I'm kind of proud of us for that.
Yeah, that's
I really
good.
am. So when we start out with our bumblebees, and then we start out with our mason bees and our digger bees are the three. I don't know where the pictures are. So I do have a picture of.
Do you want Chris to start bringing up the pictures now?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know if we're still being recorded.
Oh, yeah, we're still on.
Well,
Yeah. Do you want him to bring up
Yes,
the,
please. I can
the
tell.
pictures?
Yes, please. This is a carpenter bee, but you notice that the small little green metallic bees are called sweat bees.
Oh, sweat bees. I've heard of them, yeah.
Yes. I've never had one come after me.
I think one time when I was young, I think one got me on my toes or something one time. It didn't sting as bad as the bigger bees, though.
And you notice that's on a native plant, Monardia, which also the Monardia is one, if any of you people have what we call clearwing moths or hummingbird moths right now, they love that. I've spent many an afternoon watching them. Then the next one is, I thought it was kind of unique because it shows how the sweat bees can move.
Oh,
can get there.
It looks like it's doing a somersault
Yeah.
on the flower.
So that is very adaptive, and it's very tiny, and it's very important. Then the next one is an example of this is what I call a flower fly. Notice it only has 2 wings and the big eyes,
Yeah.
and it looks like a bee or a wasp.
Yeah, the wings seem to be transparent.
Yeah. These are all from my garden, so these are all locally found insects.
It's a pretty looking
I think so.
insect, like a little fairy or something.
Yeah. I've never heard of anybody getting stung, but they are scared of them because they think it looks like a wasp. And that's
I
its
see.
protective. That's its protective measures. The next one is a hoverfly. That's what I was talking about. And see the little kind of like what I call it almost looks like a goalpost that's inverted on it.
Oh, yeah.
And they do hover. They will hover over, and then that's how you can tell. First of all, it's them because they can go back and forth. But looking at it, you say, oh, it's fuzzy. But it's
Yeah.
not. It's not a bee. That's part of the mimicry. And the last one that I'm showing, and this we'll stop for a minute after this, is another kind of, it's called a club Midas fly. And that came out from my garden too.
A club Midas fly?
Yeah.
You know, that looks like something that might scare people
Yes.
if they were to see something black like that. And that's a scary looking insect, but it probably doesn't sting.
No.
No.
No, it doesn't. It's probably worse for the other insects than it is for us, to be honest with you. We're going to kind of stop there and talk a little bit, but I just wanted to kind of explain what the difference is. When I talk about flies, people get so nervous because they think of house flies.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm looking at as far as mostly in the garden. There's a few things here and there, but that's the big specific ones. We're looking into trying to save leafcutter bees because they're in decline. I don't know if you're aware of what
Leafcutter
bees.
bees?
Yeah, the next slide will show you something what they do with that. That's what a leafcutter bee does.
Oh.
And they're like the 3rd most important pollinators in New York State. They go and they chew off that little part of the leaf, roll it up, and put their larvae in it.
Oh.
They take it to a hole in the wood. I'm sitting there and I'm looking and I thought, what is wrong? I did not catch her. I do not know where she was, but she definitely was busy.
Yeah, I guess so.
So that brings me when we're going to talk about habitat is be happy if it gets kind of shoddy, because that means you're working with what you're doing. Had I pulled that whole plant out, that it was what we consider, quote, a weed. It was a wrong plant in the wrong place. I would have wrecked her whole habitat.
Oh my gosh.
So I waited till she was done.
But so it was an important insect then.
And it was kind of a neat side thing. In spring, your main pollinators around here, plants, believe it or not, are trees. Your honeybees can get into the crocus and that kind of thing. Your bees don't as much, the native bees. So the biggest one is, for me, is red maple, because it's an early season nectar. And we don't see the flowers, but they do. And the pussy willow.
Oh.
Those are 2 easy ones that we have here that are to grow that do it. In fact, 33% of the native plant pollinators emerge in the spring. That's when they come out. So you've got your little bumblebee queen that overwintered. She'll come out in the spring.
And that's why the flowering trees and bushes usually do their flowering in the spring.
For us, if it's a native and it's the right time, yes.
Yeah.
I was reading rhododendrons are junk food.
Rhododendrons are junk food.
Yeah.
Oh.
That is kind of what we were talking about a little bit. Most of those kind of plants were introduced. You want the ones, if you're going to be talking about native pollinators, that are part of our ecosystem that have been around here. The oaks are important for another reason. That's a whole new topic, why oaks are a keystone plant. But I find that the easiest ones that you can get is a pussy willow is pretty easy. and my red maple.
I think everybody loves pussy willows.
I hope so.
Everybody, I know a lot of people make a big issue about needing pussy willows.
Well,
you know, in their floral arrangements in their homes and things like that. They go out and get them.
they're one thing that you can take a cutting of and still grow and not be just damaging the system. Or, you know, we live up by where they come up, and you can take a cutting and you can grow it, so you're not really wrecking the whole environment or whatever. The next slide shows you what I found really interesting. This was a spring one. See the hole?
Yes.
Well, if you're going to be doing native pollinators, you need to leave some bare ground.
Oh, okay.
Because the majority are what they call solitary bees. And this poor woman goes for 6 to 8 weeks, she lays these eggs, and then that's it for her.
Oh.
And sometimes, depending on the bee, how far down it goes or how big it is, it goes from 1 to 1. Solitary bees are probably the most important pollinators we have in the early spring. This was a hole by one of our trees. So I'm sitting there because you can see the pollen from the tree.
Right.
And I just sat and watched that poor woman go to town.
Yeah.
She kept coming back. It's a very minute hole, and it was just in between the roots. So you don't have to have a big patch. You just have to have a patch that they can get at and lay. And then I put it as a no-mow, no string, no walk area, you know, till they came out.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people probably don't know this, but the honeybee was not originally native to the United States. They were brought here by the early settlers from Europe, and one beekeeper, when we were first learning how to do honeybees, he said that the Native Americans referred to the first honeybees that came. It was some sort of a brown-colored honeybee, and the Native Americans referred to them as the Europeans biting brown flies.
Wow. Now the Native Americans brought the three sisters brought the squash, and there's a squash bee, and they are mainly, and it's native, and they attribute the Native Americans for establishing the squash bee so far in America, North America, which is kind of a neat concept. So you can go hand in hand with things. So what I've had to do is try to figure out how I could protect them and what I could plant, because I feel strongly that we have to do our due diligence on this and try to make it. If you don't have a big area, you can always do container gardenings or a small one or things like that. When my mom was alive, we went and got some plants that she could put up where by her apartment that enabled her to get the pollinators around, because she had moved back here. Most of us, they'll tell you to plant a tree, but not all of us have the capabilities or the age or the land to do a tree.
Right.
So I always say to people, protect the native trees. You know, if you've got them, and you can see they're going to try to cut it down, and it doesn't need to be cut down. Just tell the arborist, no, please. You know, can you just trim it? That's the first one. The second thing is there's some shrubs that you can plant that I find very easy to take care of. I am older, and I am not going to be fussy, and I'm not going to be pruning, and I'm not going to be worried. So the one that I just looked at before I came that was probably just full of everything, just as one of my easiest one was called buttonbush.
Buttonbush?
Yeah, it has round little button, they call it, but it's round balls, and you would honestly believe, I probably went out and I probably saw, I'm not kidding, 30, 40 different pollinators on it at different times. And it was honeybees, and it was bumblebees, and it was little tiny bees. And I can't tell you if the one was a fly or not. You know, I just came to the talk. It has done well. And it has been an easy. We have one that's right by where the driveway. So it's taking the snow, and I have one in the back. I don't seem to find that Bambi kills it. So that's been an easy one that you can get. Another one that I really like is Chloretha, and it smells like heaven.
Oh, does it?
And we have one by our back window, and you can do the dishes and you can just smell it. And the pollinators love that. I put that in different places. Those are example of 2 bushes or shrubs that people can buy and not have to be stressed out with the care or the cost.
Okay, buttonbush and Clarissa.
Chloretha, we call it.
Okay.
Those are 2 easy. I was looking at my own land to say what would I say to somebody that, you know, I'm looking at more and more as what does not cost us a lot of physical anxiety and a pocketbook, okay?
Right.
And the buttonbush has done really well with the fluctuations in temperatures, you know, and drought and stuff. To say the least, I'm a firm believer in you put in as much native plants as you can, because that's what the pollinators are used to, and it keeps out, as you were saying earlier, the invasives.
Oh, yeah.
We've had an awful lot of invasives. I don't know about you, but we lost 40 trees to the emerald ash borer.
Oh.
40 ash trees. That was our wake-up call. You know, that something could come wipe you out and change our whole environment.
Was that a bug that was imported from somewhere?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. On pallets, shipping pallets. I
Oh.
helped inspect for that. They sent us out to different factories around here, and it was voluntary, and the factories were very good and had us look at the shipping pallets. They brought in people that knew it. In fact, I was one of the, because I was part of that, our land was one of the first ones I diagnosed in Chautauqua County because I knew what I was looking for. And I could send the larvae to do it. It's just a very minute example, and I think we all love those fancy, showy little flowers and stuff. My great aunts loved roses. They were wonderful ladies, but my goodness, the stuff they put on it, you know, sulfur and all this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you think about it, the consequences. So what I'm trying to get to people to do is to create some kind of a habitat that's more conducive on the level that they can do. Okay? You can't take your whole yard away, but you can start changing it.
Right.
One of the ones that I've encouraged my husband to do is to lead the violets in the lawn.
Oh, the violets, yes. You know, they're edible. The violets are. We go out and get some, we go out in the woods and get wild violets to eat.
Yep.
They're a really good source of vitamin C.
Well, and not only that, but they are the only plant that supports its fritillaries. If you don't have violets, you don't have fritillaries, which are a huge butterfly population in New York State. They're native ones. So every time you mow down, we have this idea that dandelions are the answer. And I'm going to tell you, dandelions is junk food.
Junk food.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to talk about a couple plants that I think are just junk food. It would be like you have your grandchildren come over and you're going to babysit and the parents leave and you say, okay, you're going to have nothing but ice cream pop and you know, it's not sustainable. And dandelions, everybody thinks no mow May is the answer because they'll get it off the dandelion. It's not a very good nectar source. You're better to use leave your your violets in and a few other things. Just leave your patch. You know.
I do love I do love violets. So.
It's good. That is the problem we're having right now. There's a big campaign to have less lawn, to allow more natural things to come in, because first of all you have the cost of maintaining this lawn. Golf courses aren't environmentally safe. So the people who are out doing a lot of weed and feed and things like that, herbicides, are probably doing more damage than they are help to anything. And there's nothing that the lawn sustain. So they're encouraging you to have less of a lawn. That's not to say I have grandchildren who play soccer, so I mean, they have to have a lawn, you know. But you have to choose how much of a lawn you're going to have. Who wants to mow it anyways? I mean, that's part of the problem there too. But it's trying to convince people that we don't need a great big huge sea of green
Right.
to be healthy.
right.
It's not. So one of the things I tell them is don't use your pesticides if you can help it. There's no need to. They're finding out that even fungicides are now ruining the broods of the bees, and they're just exploring it. So I'm assuming it's going to hit honeybees. I assume it's going to hit native bees. They're looking to see how bad it is. Everybody thinks, oh, the fungicide doesn't kill insects. It does. So I'm telling people, if you've got to use a fungicide, use the least lethal one and use it just on what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. What about, how do you feel about, I mean, you see it in all the hardware stores and everything, Roundup.
Oh, that's a real sticky wicket. Roundup.
I've heard that that Roundup, the main ingredient in Roundup, was in Agent Orange in the Vietnam War.
They're saying that it could have caused non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and a few other things. But the only thing that kills Japanese knotweed is Roundup. So if you have somebody who knows how to inject it and injects only that plant, that's acceptable, because you can't have Japanese. I don't know if you've ever gone to the Faulkner Mill area. It's just the whole thing is getting just taken over by Japanese knotweed. And there's nothing you can do to get rid of it except that. I do know that there are a couple people who have worked with the Land Conservancy and things like that, who are very careful of when they do it. The other one is Tree of Heaven, the one that's bringing in all the spotted lanternfly.
Oh.
And sometimes that's injected. Do I think we should go out and spray? No. My neighbor learned the hard way, because they used Roundup on their driveway. It's gravel, and they raise dogs
Oh my gosh. They spray it on their driveway?
to kill the weeds.
Oh, I see. It's not a paved driveway.
No, we have gravel and the grass grows up. So I use a torch. There's a torch you can use. Or
Oh, yeah.
things like that, okay?
Yeah, Bill Kewick, who comes on Fresh Perspectives from time to time, he's from Fredonia. He has a torch thing that he uses.
There's 3 of us now, 3 women. I got the torch, and then we all torch different times. Because the dog walked on that, they licked their paws and they died.
Oh, of course, yes.
Yeah, so
yes.
I think with the right reason, and that's the only way you can get rid of a certain plant that is going to completely wreck your environment, and you've got somebody who knows what they're doing and they're doing it carefully, then I guess there's a reason for it. You know, but as far as me saying to you, you go out and get Roundup and use it all over, no.
No, oh, definitely not.
I'm glad we're in agreement on that one. I don't know how I'd handle if you say, oh, I love my Roundup.
Oh, no, you won't hear me saying that on television, no. You won't ever hear me saying it anywhere, anytime.
No.
So, there's something that's been growing along the sides of the roads the last 2 years. It's white. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, I think you're probably talking about, it's either cow parsnip or cow parsley, which is, people think it looks like a Queen Anne's lace.
Yeah, but it's not.
It's not.
And it really does look different if you get a close look at it.
And it also has a sap that irritates a lot of people.
It has
a sap that irritates a lot of people.
I've heard it's kind of like poison ivy or something almost. You know,
I have a great.
I recently got to have a conversation with Carol Markham from what used to be called the Watershed Conservancy. Yeah, and she said it's called chervil.
Yeah.
Chervil is what it's called.
The problem of it is you have all these different local names and stuff like that. I became aware of it because years ago when we had Kathy Young on our legislature, she called us up, and her intern had gone out to do some work and got in the field of them and just had a terrible reaction to it.
Oh, really?
That's when I came aware of it, that it's not a good...
The person got really sick then?
Oh, like a rash.
A rash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like, I don't want to use the word burn, but you know, that kind of
Yeah.
looking.
Yeah,
thing,
that
like,
really nasty. What is that one? What if that one plant? It always seems to have been around. It's not something new. It's that one that if you brush up against it with your bare skin, it'll grabs a hold of your skin, and then when you go to pull it off of yourself.
Oh, I call those bedstraw cleavers.
What are they?
I don't know the scientific. It's bedstraw cleavers.
Bedstraw cleavers.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's as bad as having poison ivy.
Well, I don't have as much of a reaction to it, but I think the wise thing to do is when you're out is to wear the long gloves.
If you're going to be where stuff like that's growing.
Period. It's not a bad idea. My niece gave me a set, and it's saved me many a time. And for those of us who have younger generation that say, I want to buy you something, but I want to order it on Amazon, go. You know, say Mother's Day, I want these. I want this and that. My son's real happy. You know,
that's what I want, yeah.
Because he's got this list and he can send it, you know. I mean, he said, this is a breeze. And I thought, yeah, this is what I really want. You know, you pick and choose. I've got a whole nother thing where I have ergonomic tools and stuff. And I've had to adjust because of arthritis and stuff. And that's a whole nother talk. But I think there's a lot of possibilities out there to protect yourself.
Because I had this horrible... it was almost more than a rash. It was almost it almost turned into what, like you said, a burn. You know, it was just the certain area on my arm this one time, and it was dripping. You know, fluid dripping out of it all the time. Something very. It's very nasty, but it's the one you call bedstraw cleavers. Yeah.
I'm not very good. I've failed foreign language. So I'm not very good on Latin names, to be honest with you.
Okay.
A lot of them I can identify, but I don't say it because they asked me to quit French. I was of that generation.
They asked you to drop out of your French class?
Yeah.
The one that I dropped out of was I think they call it calculus now. It was
yes.
Algebra. Yeah, I could not comprehend that type of math. It was like
a foreign, I don't know. It just isn't my bag. I can recognize them and I can tell you the spelling, but I can't say it, so I don't say it. What I've been trying to do with my own, and I have young neighbors that come over. I have a young neighbor who comes over and gardens with me. I have pretty much a neighborhood. We're all in agreement as far as what we want, you know.
Well, that's good that you're all in agreement in your neighborhood.
We're not doing a whole lot of that kind of stuff. The main problem is we had a lot of habitat loss, and that's caused the pollinators to run around, to leave. You know, we're up by the airport and they had went to the whole field and stuff. We're getting more deer.
Oh.
And the deer eat all the plants that pollinators may want. If they're going into the forest and they're getting rid of that red sapling, red maple sapling or whatever, you're not going to have that pollinators. Forests are really important, so as the deer browse, that's causing a whole lot of problems. The extreme temperature changes, and I'll argue that out with anybody this year, is really causing havoc. It is. It's causing havoc on the growing season, and it's causing havoc on the pollinators.
Yeah, a lot of people don't believe it, I've noticed. They're called climate deniers.
Yes. But it's extreme, and we're finding, and I have a lot of data on that it's a trend. And we may end up with it's a trend that we're getting very wet springs and very dry summers, and we're getting hotter. It just is. That's another one. We're getting more invasive plants.
Right.
Do you remember when the purple loosestrife came through Chautauqua Lake and that, and we all pulled those? They wanted to get rid of them. There were those. You go by the canal, and there was all this purple loosestrife.
Yeah.
That was pretty destructive.
That particular plant?
That was one. There's a lot of ones that people get very upset with me about.
Oh, because a lot of people thought it was pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You start out with the yellow flag iris that was in the canals and stuff. That's extremely invasive.
Now, you were mentioning like certain plants being like junk food for pollinators
Yes.
and like that. You hear about, I heard that said about something called bamboo
Oh my, that's really horrid.
that is, I heard somebody once say that that's like junk food for the honeybees.
Well, bamboo is one of the most destructive plants that you can plant. I mean, it will get rid of everything. I think
Did
it's-
people start planting it on purpose around
Well, somebody
here?
asked me that question too. That was a unique one. It was an adult. It said, why, when something's being used, been planted for years, does it become, are you telling me it's invasive? And I said, because we didn't know it.
We
don't-
didn't know it?
We didn't know when it came over.
How did it, you don't know, do you know how it got here?
Oh, came by shipping all kinds of things. Look at English ivy.
English ivy.
You know, I mean, I don't know about you, but we grew up with the English ivy was something that everybody wanted. And it's extremely invasive. It smothers and everything else. And when I put it in two different categories. There's invasives, and junk food is something that has a pretty flower or whatever, and people think it's great, but it's giving nothing to them.
Like the honeysuckle and
Butterfly bush.
butterfly bush?
Butterfly bush is junk food.
Really?
It is.
Oh.
I'm not going to argue it out with people, but I have worked on my friend for 5 years, and she's getting rid of it. Because it says butterfly bush, smells good, and the butterflies go to it, everybody says, I want it. And you can get it cheap.
Oh.
It has a high sugar content nectar. It provides nothing for the caterpillars. They go and feed on it, those butterflies, and then they don't go to the correct plant. Therefore, they don't survive.
Oh.
There's a reason why plants and different pollinators coexist. And everybody thinks this butterfly bush is just great because I get butterflies. Well, you just killed them because they're not getting what they need.
Right, right.
You know, you're just giving them, and they're, you get,
I'm glad you mentioned that because at least the people that watch Fresh Perspectives will know that now.
and it's very invasive down south. It's illegal in certain states
Oh.
down south of butterfly bush because it escaped. If somebody is that diehard of a butterfly bush, I said at least one thing you can do. You know you're not going to help the butterflies. You may have a whole bunch of them on there, but you're not. So that's your choice, but please don't let it go to seed.
That's probably why it was named butterfly bush, was
Yeah.
because people saw it going to that, the butterflies going to it.
Well, I don't know if it's people or just how it's because there's a plant that's native called butterfly weed.
Butterfly weed.
Yeah, it's great.
But okay, so it's okay.
Right, I don't know why they call it butterfly weed. I don't know who gave it that common name. It's an orange one, and I'll tell you, I can go out there and find probably 15, 20 different kinds of things around that on a given week, easy. It's a short one. It's doing real well right now because it likes dry. It just is a native, and it just keeps going, and it supports it, and it's got the name butterfly, and it really should be, I would call it pollinator plant, but that's, you don't know where people put the names down.
I know a lot of people have, you were mentioning the rhododendrons. A lot of people think they're really beautiful and they really like them and everything, but would it make sense for people to take out their rhododendrons and replace them with this button bush and like
Well,
that?
it's not going to flower at the same time. So what? I don't know if you've ever heard of Doug Tallamy. He's kind of he's this measured, wonderful instructor that just is very calm, and he is from the University of Delaware and has done several books. Okay. And he has a site called Homegrown National Park, and he has studied exactly in his interns, what do the chickadees eat and this and that and whatever. His advice now is when you're looking at your land and you say, I don't really support anything, start small and go 30%, then 40% or whatever. What I wouldn't do is cut down something that was important. That's the first step. If you've got nothing but rhododendrons, you're not going to get anything, do it. But I don't think that's a cemetery right now. You know? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how many pollinators are in the cemetery. Plus the deer like it, so usually they take care of
Oh,
that.
the deer like it?
Oh, they can sue my neighbors, so you know, it's a case. I find that that is not invasive. So if somebody's got a rhododendron, we do have one, I'll be honest with you. It's the same thing with a lilac. A lilac's not a high pollinator, but my husband loves the lilac. It's not taking over anything.
It's not an invasive, the
No.
lilacs.
So,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, as long as we're, you know, it's not case. If I were going to replace the dead lilac, which I did, I replaced it with a native shrub.
Oh, okay.
Another one that's not too helpful is forsythia.
Forsythia?
Yeah,
What did you just say? It's
not too helpful for pollinators either.
It's not a good one.
No, it's not
Okay.
high on it.
Aren't those early spring yellow blossoms on that particular bush, or am I thinking of?
Yes.
Yes?
Just because it comes out does not mean it's suited for our pollinators. It's tough because you do honeybees. Honeybees are European, so they can do a lot of plants that our regular ones won't eat. You know, so if you're going to go native, you're going to have to go native plants. Now there's a thing called cultivars, and that screws it all up too. And that was what I was going to talk about a little bit. But your other choice is, okay, I'm not going to give up my, I don't know, rhododendron. Then put a plant in that supports the caterpillars or the larvae or something, so that you say, okay, that's fine. You know, let your leafcutter bee come. You know, and say, I mean, that's another choice. You're saying, okay, I'm not ready to get rid of this, and it's not invasive, and it's not harming the environment, then plant something that might contribute to it. That's where I look at it. One of the things that caterpillars, and Doug telling me, a chickadee will bring thousands of larvae to her brood, because birds can only eat protein, baby birds. They do not eat seed.
Oh.
So you have to have larvae, okay? So I look for a plant that maybe has larvae and pollinating possibilities.
Oh.
That's another one. And there's a lot of information out there, good information. If anybody wanted to know, I could give it to them, or they could contact the helpline or whatever, and we can give it to them, the sites and things. That is what I'm looking for. If you've got a small site, look for a double dipper, I call it. Something that might have more than one purpose.
Oh, yeah. Good idea.
You know, and I'm also looking at cost and what you can get. You know, that's it. Hydrangeas are another tough one. Those pink and...
Oh, yeah.
Pink and...
We've never had those at our house. Those are...
A lot of them are sterile.
A lot of them are not worth having then.
No, they don't give any pollen or nectar for anybody. Not here, at least. We're having a tough time because we used to have a system where a plant would come out and then the bee would emerge at the same time. Like the violets would come out and the fritillary would come out and they would match. And now with the way the weather's happening, maybe the violet comes out too early because it was a warm spring.
Yeah.
And the insect hasn't come.
Yeah.
So we're having a big tough time with things that traditionally we had here.
I noticed that the violets were early this year.
Yeah.
I remember noticing that.
Yeah. So that's a tough one too. And you look, well, I haven't seen the asters. We have what's called New York State aster that's native, and it's a big one, and in the fall.
Is that the purple one?
Most of the time it is. I haven't looked to see how they're doing. You know, are they goofed up with this whole weather or whatever? I don't know. So whatever relies on them may be mismatched. It might be the wrong time for them. You know, your solitary bees are now out because they've had their 6 to 8 weeks, and so they're running around and they're pollinating, and eventually some of them may overwinter.
Oh.
Is what they do.
We've got 8 minutes left.
Okay. I'm just going to talk about a couple of the slides real quick because we're going to talk about habitat. We looked at the whole.
Have we shown, are there more pictures to show still?
There are 2.
Okay. Well, let's have Chris bring the first of those up then.
There's 2 left.
Okay.
This was our garage. And my husband called me out and he said, what are we going to do? It turned out to be a mud dauber.
A mud dauber?
A mud dauber wasp. This woman did nothing to us because it's a woman that does this. She makes these tubes. She puts the wasps, the pollens, and well, for her, it's the actual insects and stuff. Seals them up, and their larvae lays their eggs, and the larvae have something to eat. They call this a pipe organ nest. We left it. Never stung us. When people are afraid of stinging, and you and I were discussing stinging, the majority of native bees and solitary bees do not sting. And a lot of these non-aggressive insects, as long as you're just not sticking your finger up there, I don't know, you're fine. And the last slide I have to show came from my garden too. And this is one of the big things they're telling you to do is leave the stems. I don't know if you've heard of this.
Leave the stem of what?
Of a plant.
Oh, okay.
Over the winter.
Oh,
at least 18 inches, okay? This is because certain insects overwinter in the stem.
Oh,
There's a lot of native bees.
Okay.
Point in case, there's one. Now, I don't know how many survived because spring came and all of a sudden Miss Woody Woodpecker was after it.
Oh.
So I don't know, but that's part of the whole cycle thing too. So evidently this larvae fed that woodpecker's, baby,
Right,
so it's
right.
good. That's what they're telling you. Now, if you're somebody who's fussy, and you want to have that manicured look, I tell them then at least when you cut the stems, leave them in the same area, pile them in the back.
Pile them in the bag?
Yeah, leave a few there so that in case there is one in there, they may survive. But your best bet is just not to cut them, 18 inches or more. I leave them up all winter long and then wait and see. And we had a lot of fun, the cat and I, watching the woodpecker on that one. We did. And I'm just going to talk about a couple of things you can do to make a better habitat. And then don't plant just one thing. That's called monocropping. If you have nothing but coneflowers, you're not going to have all the native pollinators. That's a good one.
No.
Bees do require a water source. I don't know about how.
Oh, definitely, yeah. If you're not near, if you've got honeybees, and you're not near a pond or a stream, they tell you to have dishes of water sitting out for the bees.
Yep. So that is, just make sure you dump it so you don't get mosquito larvae, but create a variety of blooms. So in other words, don't concentrate on just one. So you might want, we were talking about violets, and then maybe you might want to bring in goat's beard, which is a native. The next one that might come as an example in my mind, I'm going through my spring garden. Right now I've got butterfly weed, which is a kind of a arched one. I've got coneflowers, that's a landing pad for the butterflies. I've got buttonbush going. So I've got all different kind of sizes and shapes so that I'm attracting a lot of different kinds.
And it's nice for us to look at too.
And avoid dark leaves.
Dark leaves, avoid dark leaves.
Dark leaves contain a toxin that the beneficials can't eat. Provide continuous bloom, and if you can only do 3 or 4 plants, have one that comes in the spring, one comes in the fall, and plant large drifts. People like it too anyways, they'll say. And accept the imperfection, we talked about that. We talked about leaving the stems in place, providing bright and bare areas. And avoid your pesticides and your fungicides whenever possible.
Oh, definitely.
That is kind of the one-to-one synopsis of it very quickly.
Yeah, this is such an interesting topic. It's the kind of thing you could talk about all day long. You've never actually tried raising any honeybees then?
No, I'm fortunate. I'm out. I have my neighbors. So.
Oh, you can get honey from your neighbors.
Yeah, I live in a more agricultural area.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They call it agricultural residential. Our former master gardener coordinator, that's what she is. She's a humongous beekeeper.
Oh.
Very avid and very good. So I just did a presentation for her, the beekeepers thing, on native plants for bees. To try to, our goal was to try to combine the two so that everybody can kind of coexist. And so I researched and presented to the beekeepers, what plants can you put in and your bees will be happy, and you'll be happy, and they'll be healthy, and so will the pollinators. So I do it, that's a presentation that I...
Yeah, you know, not just the honeybees, but the bumblebees, unlike that also, go for clover in a big way.
Oh yeah, we planted clover. I tell people, ignore the, you know, don't, you can mow the dandelions, but putting clover is excellent, yes.
Yeah, it's on the list of, the red clover is on the list of blood purifying foods. You know, if you make teas and things out of it, it's really good. A lot of the native spring plants are blood purifiers, because you come out of the winter when you've been eating more heavy foods and things, and your body kind of needs to go on a cleanse.
It's another reason not to use pesticides and fungicides, isn't it?
I know.
You don't want to ingest it.
You don't want to eat Roundup.
No. Okay. There's more than one reason for it. Not only do you want your animals to live, but you don't want to ingest it yourself.
Yeah, oh, definitely, yeah, you want to live as long as you can.
Yeah, and as healthy.
Well, Pat, I'm so glad that I've had the chance to meet you, and this has been such an interesting episode. It's about things that I love, you know, and care about. And just thank you so much for being on Fresh
Thank you
Perspectives.
for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. And I will see the rest of you, you viewers, on Fresh Perspectives when we do the next episode.